my boomers? It's me, Melanie Mac, here on my social commentary channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about some double standards in, I guess now, like the social climate and stuff like that, because we have seen time and time again constantly people complaining about what female characters in video games, especially what they wear, and the complete defeminization of female characters. And there's just a lot of hypocrisy going on with this. And then with the recent Thor Love and Thunder trailer, there was, you know, that Thor scene where his clothes got flown off or something. I don't even entirely understand the context of what this is, but I just know this seems like a giant double standard. Now, I get backlash from both sides about this topic because I am not completely on one side. And I know that I fight for characters like Lara Croft. Let her wear shorts, let her be curvy, let her be empowering and sexy and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also not in the boat of characters or people, actors and stuff, being treated like a piece of meat either. And I think there's a balance to be had. And I know I probably get some comments that are against that or whatever, but hey, I don't care. I made this channel just to be honest, and I'm not really extreme on one side or the other on most topics in general, and this is one of them. So I actually do think that to some degree, depending on the medium, depending on what they're talking about in general, there was some merit at least to not wanting every single female character to be portrayed in a sexualized way. And the same, but I think what happened is they overcompensated. I guess I could say that. So let me just dive right in and I'll expound a little more on that, because while I do fight for Lara Croft to be, I think how Lara Croft was never an issue, first of all, so I don't think that was too extreme at all. But yeah, let me go ahead and expound more as I continue this. So let me move my camera over a little bit. So right here we see this, first of all, this tweet that says mainstream media stop sexualizing women, and then showing this, which shows clearly the double standard going on here. And I imagine in the actual movie they probably won't even have them blurred. I don't know if they will or not, but either way, it's just not it. And so I said exploitation of men is socially acceptable, but Lara Croft can't wear shorts anymore because of social justice, and the double standard that falls with that. I just went relatively viral, this tweet and stuff, and I'm telling you, I first saw this, and I first saw screenshots of it. I wasn't even seeing the context of people's opinions. I just saw screenshots because I didn't see the trailer or anything. I still haven't gotten around to watching the trailer, because I personally don't really plan on watching the movie, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, even when I just saw the screenshot, I just saw this screenshot. I don't even know if it was in a negative context. I don't even remember what the tweeter said. I just saw the picture and I immediately thought, yikes. Like, obviously I'm attracted to men. Chris Hemsworth is a very handsome guy. Looks great. But seeing this just seems yikes to me. This context and everything, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It just seems exploitive. It does not, it seems like treating him like a piece of meat. It doesn't seem like organic. It seems shoehorned in there. And that's my issue, is whenever you have, a character who is sexualized in a sense, and it's a big part of their character, it's part of a power fantasy, and it's organically done, then I don't really have much of an issue. I think in most cases, though, and in a lot of cases, I don't know, I think it can get to pervy levels, and we don't have to see every single person naked. We just don't. Whether even your crushes and all that kind of stuff, your fictional crushes or your actor crushes, whatever it may be. Why do we have to see everybody naked? Why do we have to treat them Why can't we appreciate and admire somebody's beauty without just absolutely going to that level? You know what I mean? Now, for me, I think when it comes to, and this is the thing, is I don't want to push my own beliefs on everybody, but this is just personally how I feel. And I feel like Hollywood is very perverted. And I think when you're constantly making everything and everyone about sex, about sexuality, and about sex in general, it's perverted. You don't the thing is in general, when I think about sex in general, that I think some people can get extremely prudish about it, but at the same time, it's like it's almost too open these days, and it has been for a while. It's almost too open. What is a beautiful and even what I consider like a sacred act, it has just become so exploited. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people might disagree with me on this and will or whatever, call me a prude. I don't freaking care. I'm just being honest, because when I made this tweet, I got backlash, some backlash from both sides, okay? Obviously the woke side, I don't even have to go into that because we know how that is. But even the other side where people were saying, what, are you saying you have a problem with this? Or the clear answer here is just to do the same to Natalie Portman. And to me, it's just like, no, it's not. You don't have to exploit people. There's a big difference between, a power fantasy, showing a character who is attractive and even sexy, and demonstrating that in a respectful way. And I just feel like this is just, I just personally don't find this to be respectful. I don't. I think it's time that we just add some more class to society in general, because we're losing it. Okay? You could call me a prude. I don't care, but we need a little more class in society. I'm sick of it. I'm just freaking sick of it. Watch some Corn, dude, if you want to rot your brain with this, with everything being about sex. I'm over it. And I don't have any issue with the human body. I don't have any issue with the naked human body. But there's a difference between when it becomes to how it's portrayed. I'm a firm believer of when it comes to lust, and when it comes to objectifying people, etc., that's on us as individuals. You should be able to see somebody on the street or on TV or whatever it may be, whether they are dressed in a poncho or if they're completely naked, like so. And you should be able to have respect for them and not, and be able to control yourself is basically it. So I'm not saying that the answer is to cover up everybody more. But when the intent and when it's about intent and stuff, that's kind of, that's where I feel about, okay, kind of have some class and respect, kind of falls into play. And in this case, like I said, when I saw it, my immediate reaction wasn't even like, oh, drool, like thinking all these thoughts. It was, oh gosh, like I already know he was uncomfortable with other scenes. Like, I doubt he was comfortable with this. Like, that was my initial thought, which, even though clearly he's attractive. So it's just like, you have to control your own self. But then at the same time, I think that like when it comes to creators and stuff like that, in this case, with movie creators and Hollywood in general, like, dude, they're deliberately being creepy. This is creepy, okay? I think this is creepy. And I think that saying, oh, the answer to this is do the same to Natalie Portman, that's creepy too, okay? That's my opinion. Here's an example of, like, Ragnarok, I believe. Like,
Hemsworth.
Woof. I loved all those up close and personal shots, Taika. Thank you very much for those.
He didn't want to do that. And
he didn't want to do
I made him do that. He was
really?
like, I want to do that. Yes, I'm not just a piece of meat. And I was like, yes, you are.
Like, dude, he literally called him a piece of meat. That's disgusting. Like, that is so pervy and so creepy. It's just wrong. It's just plain wrong. So, this is where I'm at with this whole topic. There is a huge double standard whenever something like this is socially acceptable or acceptable by Hollywood or the gaming industry or whatever, but then Lara Croft can't even wear shorts. It's ridiculous. I think that the way that Lara Croft was portrayed, even when you look at like the movies, even the old ones, when people act like that was such a problematic time, yeah, she did have scenes, like she had a shower scene and all this kind of stuff, but any time they ever portrayed Lara Croft, which I did find the shower scene unnecessary. I didn't have a big issue with it. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but I don't know, it just seemed that seemed almost kind of pervy too, if I'm being honest. So I will give them that. But when it comes to Lara Croft just being, wearing shorts, being curvy, being that power fantasy, like, idealization of a feminine figure, exaggerated proportions, tight clothes, things like that, I just don't see an issue when that's portrayed like in such a power fantasy kind of way. Just like, superheroes are, apart from just completely doing this to him against his will, fictionally and probably in the real life, wasn't exactly consensual to it. It's not consent. If he says I'm uncomfortable with it and then you pressure him to do it, it's not consent. I don't see how this is even a discussion. And most actors aren't comfortable with it. If you say, well, if you're not comfortable with it, you should find an actor who is. Well, most aren't. Most people just aren't comfortable being seen as a piece of meat. Unless you're talking about corn actors. And even then, most of them would not, like the high majority of them would not be doing that if they didn't need the money. Okay, so inherently human nature, most people don't want to feel exploited in that way. And I know people are going to take me out of context or whatever, but there's a big, huge difference between a character showing off their superhero physique in a flattering costume, a tight costume, and being seen in a very powerful way and all this kind of stuff, and throwing in butt shots for no reason. There's just because, in your own words, he's a piece of meat, let's give the women what they want with this, essentially. Let's let the creeper peeps get some satisfaction out of this, even though it's something that the actor is uncomfortable with. It's disgusting. So that's my opinion on it. Take it how you'll take it. I'm just putting it out there. So let me go ahead and I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like Hollywood is so pervy, and I feel like the entertainment industry in general is so pervy. And the difference is, even though now you have like the social justice warriors and the woke crowd trying to ridiculously overcompensate with things, it doesn't detract from the fact that it's still pervy. They're just pervy in other ways. Even if they change things up or whatever, it has not gotten better in any sense. Yeah, I think I just feel like the whole entertainment industry is extremely corrupt, and perversion is just one of many issues in that. So I'm not by any means saying that we have to make every character super covered up. We can't have characters be hot. Not saying that. I'm just saying, don't be pervs. Treat people with respect. There's a way to do it, and this ain't it. Yeah, let's not appease the creepers, because I don't know who in their right mind could see somebody doing something they're uncomfortable with and get gratification out of it. I don't see how you could do that. I don't care how hot the person is. You shouldn't be able to get gratification out of somebody being exposed in a way that they are not comfortable with. So let me go ahead and go into some comments from recent videos. This was about the Batwoman actress who said she wanted to be Lara Croft. I made a whole video on that. If you want the entire context, you can check that out. Hezekiah says, ooh, here we go again. No, please, God, no. I send whatever claim she has back to sender. As a black guy, I'm putting my foot down. We don't want this race swapping. Just give us an accurate representation and a good story. Mike Ritter says, maybe you should sing all comments like you did, Benz. Yeah, that was that was funny. Martin says, they really don't care about the fans. Every time I hear it's fiction, it's not real, rubbish. Not only are they hypocrites, but they're also making fun of us. I mean, if we say Black Panther is not real, they will go ballistic and call us every name under the sun. Because if they don't care, why should I? Whatever. Well said. Poison says, veganism equals unhealthyism. There's nothing to debate. Being an omnivore whilst getting most of your protein from meat sources is the healthiest option. But vegetables and fruits definitely serve their purpose as well as far as micronutrients. No reason to cut out food groups. Just stay away from processed crap and you'll feel great day to day. Since it doesn't seem like that particular vegan is very pro-Christian, maybe he can pray to vegetables for better mental health. I think this was well said. And, a lot of you guys know I don't eat fruits or vegetables almost never. And that really helped and improved my health because a lot of plants do have a lot of anti-nutrients. I think that a lot of people would actually benefit from cutting them from their diets because the way that plants have not only just been modified, for example, but also the fact that, a lot of plants do have anti-nutrients and actually cause issues, especially like digestively and even further beyond that. But that being said, I don't think that people have to cut out whole food groups at all. I think if people did exactly what you just said, they would experience a lot of benefits and would live healthy lives for sure. Now I think if you do have specific issues like with myself with endometriosis, then being more strict with stuff, and cutting out more food groups absolutely was essential in my health and improving my health. And a lot of people do have to go that measure, and cut out the vegetables and fruits and only stick to meat. And some can tolerate dairy, but definitely not everybody. I think the majority of people, like I said, we are omnivores. But in my opinion, we're omnivores just in the same way like a dog is, to where, yes, you can live with plants as well, but you can't live only on plants. I mean, you can live, but not very healthy. You can't sustain healthily on only plants, but you can, however, sustain healthily on only meat. And for many people, they'll actually experience more health benefits cutting out the plants. I did, but it's not necessary for everybody. All right, CyberlingBot3D says, I've seen vegans bully this one ex-vegan because he stopped being vegan for at least a year until I quit watching his videos. In every video he made, his comment section was full of angry vegans being violent and abusive. I'll never trust a vegan after that. That's the thing, is so many, definitely not all, and I appreciate those who are vegan and just minding their own business, doing their own thing, and not out to abuse other people. But there are definitely a pack of them that are absolutely abusive, and it's like absurd. And I don't understand how the toxic ones plan to bring anybody over to their movement whenever they treat everybody like crap and they're flat out abusive. I don't know what they expect out of that. Clearly the brain cells aren't rubbing the right way. Irish Not Sane says they blocked Az for pointing out their problem, so this shouldn't surprise you. I did not know this. Are you talking about the Tomb Raider Twitter account or something? Because, that's insane if they blocked him. I'm going to be honest. I am surprised that I have not been, maybe not fully blocked, because I'm not, toxic about my criticisms. I have a lot of criticism. Not saying that Az was, but I have a lot of criticisms, but I definitely have not said anything that deserved a block from them. But I am surprised that they do still follow me. My best guess is I am friends with one of the community managers there. I mean, as I've told her many times, and I'll tell anybody who works on the franchise, my criticisms about the franchise are never personal about anybody working on it. But hey, I've been a fan of Tomb Raider for such a huge chunk of my life ever since I was a kid. So, or what, preteen or whatever, same thing. So, yeah, obviously that's a very important thing to me, and I should be able to freely speak about it without people not wanting to be my friend anymore. Saigo says, I got a neck ache from the amount of times I nodded in agreement with this video. Charles says, it's always the Reboot fans, Melanie. Absolutely correct. In most brands' fan bases, Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Halo, etc., the worst fans are the newest ones who think the modern garbage is what these properties are supposed to be. I mean, here's the issue. It's like a lot of new fans of franchises want to accuse old fans of gatekeeping and being toxic, but it's really them doing that. What they always say is, this is the way it is, deal with it. They're trying to push us out. It's projecting. When they call old fans gatekeepers, it's projecting, because that's exactly what they're doing. And they want to completely hijack the things that we love and see them transformed and unrecognizable. And we're supposed to just deal with it. And we're not allowed to complain about it. We're not allowed to have criticisms about it. It is so toxic. But anyway, let me go ahead and get into the verse of the day. Now this is obviously a really longer chapter, but I wanted to pick like a chunk of it. Isaiah 14. I'm going to start from verse 24. It says, the Lord of hosts has sworn, as I have planned, so shall it be. As I have purposed, so shall it be, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and on my mountains trample him underfoot. And his yoke shall depart from them, and his burden from their shoulder. This is the purpose that is purposed concerning the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out over all the nations. For the Lord of hosts has purposed, and who will annul it? His hand is stretched out, and who will turn it back? Now, this especially, verse 27, it just hits hard, because here's the thing, and that's the thing too. The Bible also says God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so what we know is when God has a plan and God has a purpose and God's will for something, can't nobody stop it. Can't nobody stop it. And it's a powerful thing to remember, and it's encouraging to remember. So it means that, you know, the way that I take this too is it's like, hey, if there are people who are plotting against you, there are people who have, who try to ruin your reputation, try to ruin your life, this, that, or the other. Can't nobody stop God's plan for you. So keep on keeping on, and don't let anybody, bring you down, which is obviously easier said than done. But at the end of the day, stay strong, because God's will always prevail. Life can be difficult. We're still going to have challenges, and sometimes it seems like the enemy is prospering, but you know, there's a bigger picture to be had here. And ultimately, the best we can do is just stay strong, keep going, use the hard times as character development, and don't lose sight of what's important. All right, so there you have it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm interested to see the comments, because like I said earlier, I'm not completely on one side on this. Like, I am mostly, but I'm not on an extreme side on this. I think there's a balance to be had in this and in all things. So yeah, there's, for most topics, for many, you're not going to see me be very extreme on one side, and some people don't like that. Now it depends. There are certain topics that I am, but for the most part, I think there's a balance to be had, and I think that there is an overcompensation on like the woke side of things, for example, that I think is just way out of hand. And so that, as you'll find with certain topics, I have nuanced opinions. It's a thing. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, go boom.